Last month, Bev from Try Thinking uploaded this video called Model Affliction Monday. Pick your model to falsify. So I wrote a comment that started with Bev. The model I picked to falsify is your own model of level is horizontal. Well, I recently found out that Bev uploaded this video a few days later where he talks about my comment, and I'll have a timestamp link in the description. So let's have a listen.
FB Dogma, right? Yeah, I picked the model to falsify is your own model of level is horizontal, right? It's not a model. I've got a proof that a straight line lies within a plane.
Well, Bev, just because you use geometric concepts to explain how something works does not make it a mathematical proof. Because you're talking about a physical phenomena. This is from Bev's On the Level Live website, and it says the observation that water forms a horizontal plane of reference is all around us in lakes, canals, and the very tools used to find levels. So what he's saying is that the surface of any body of water is a horizontal plane, and of course that is a real physical phenomena. Now here's a definition that says scientific modeling, the generation of physical, conceptual, or mathematical representation of a real phenomena that is difficult to observe directly. Here's another definition that says a model of a system or process is a theoretical description that can help you understand how the system or process works, or how it might work. And here's a graphic on Bev's webpage showing the difference between his model of level and the globe model of level. And these are similar to graphics I have used in many of my videos to show the difference between the flat Earth model, where water is a horizontal plane, and the globe Earth geodetic surveying model, where the surface of water is curved. And as you can see, there's only one difference between the two. Up above, that 5-foot elevation is a straight level line, and down below, that 5-foot elevation curves down from the horizontal. And of course, that means that each model makes a completely different prediction as to what we would see in reality. Now in Bev's model, the horizontal plane of an auto level is going to measure the same elevation at any distance. But since a level line of equal elevation curves down from the horizontal on the globe model, that means that the auto level's horizontal reference plane is going to measure increasing elevation with distance due to curvature errors.
FB Dogma says, yes, it works over short distances, since curvature errors are too small to measure. Well,
that's why I was even willing to go out as far as the rest
small to measure.
Hell no.
Well, what's he talking about then?
Yeah, she's talking about not that. So
is he contradicting himself in that statement?
No, not directly, but
Bev, this is what I'm talking about. Here's some calculations I made showing the rate at which a curved level line drops below the horizontal. Up above, I had it for 8 inches per mile squared, and down below, I have the equivalent in metric. Now, about a month ago, I uploaded this video titled How Accurate is 8 inches per mile squared? And you can see in the first column on the left for 10 miles, the differences were only less than 1/4 of an inch. So it is pretty accurate. Now, if you look at the upper right, you can see that the curvature error is only 3/1000ths of an inch at 100 feet. Now, this is the equivalent of a sheet of copy paper. And think about it, how many people have experience using levels on projects up to 100 feet? In most cases, it's probably going to be a homeowner that's maybe in the 10 to 20 foot range. Now at 400 feet, that curvature error is only 5/100ths of an inch, which is about 1.5 times the thickness of a credit card. Now that is less than a 1/16th of an inch. At 800 feet, the error is a bit less than 3/16ths of an inch. And at 1,200 feet, we have a calculated error that is less than 7/16ths of an inch. But the next question is, what tool are you going to use to measure this? When I worked in commercial construction, Leica was considered one of the top brands of auto levels. Now these are some of their current models, and on the far right you can see the NA730 that currently retails for about $870 US. And down below you can see that at 100 feet it has an accuracy of about 1/32 of an inch. Now Bev does know about the 2-peg test, which is used to test the accuracy of your auto level. And the first step is taking two measurements that are equal distance from each other. Now this is exactly the same as doing differential leveling with balanced back sights and foresights, and the reason is that the instrument errors cancel each other out. Now the next step of the two-peg test is to have an unbalanced backside and foresight because this will measure the instrument error. Now Leica recommends having your auto level adjusted when the error is more than 3 millimeters, which is less than 1/8 of an inch. Of course, not only does differential leveling with balanced backsights and foresights cancel out instrument errors, it also cancels out curvature errors. Now, as you can see here, the instrument error of one of Leica's best auto levels is much larger than the curvature error at 100 feet. The same is true at 400 feet. Now at 800 feet, they are getting pretty close, but again, the auto level error is about 1/16 of an inch bigger than the curvature error. Now at 1,200 feet, the curvature error is finally larger than the auto level error, but this is only by 1/16 of an inch. So yes, I stand behind my claim that level is horizontal works over short distances since curvature errors are too small to measure.
He says, then a horizontal plane will measure the same elevation at any distance. Now, what does that sound like?
Well, Bev, I'd say that sounds exactly like what you wrote in your reply to me. A horizontal does not change in elevation ever.
You establish the horizontal and you measure from or to it.
Now, I agree with Bev on this, and this is the basis of differential leveling. So if you look at the left here, here is a benchmark with an elevation of 100 feet. Now this is a backside measurement, so you're measuring up to the horizontal of the auto level, and in this case it is 12.64 feet. So not only is that point on the leveling rod at 112.64 feet, this is the height of the instrument. So now you're making a foresight measurement, and again, that point on the leveling rod measures at an elevation of 112.64 feet. But the height you see on the leveling rod is 3.11 feet, so you subtract that from 112.64 feet to get the new elevation of 109.53 feet. But again, this only works at high accuracy if you have balanced backsights and foresights. Because if you don't, you're going to introduce instrument and curvature errors.
Then a horizontal plane will measure the same elevation at any distance. Now, what does that sound like?
It sounds like Earth being measured flat.
Sounds like Nathan Oakley, right? Measuring horizontal.
So is Bev having an epiphany? Because I never brought up Nathan's name. But ironically, here's a graphic that I used over 3 years ago for the flat Earth model. And as you can see, it's the same as Bev's model.
Sounds like Nathan Oakley, right? Measuring horizontal.
We are not measuring horizontal. We establish horizontal.
Yeah. So this FE dogma sounds a lot like Nathan Oakley, right? Or he's assuming that our test measures horizontal so we can help Nathan Oakley with his measured flat bullshit.
Bev, you are the one that claims the horizontal does not change in elevation ever, not me.
He's handing out flat Earth dogma. The same as Nathan Oakley. The same. No different. Not at all. So what flat Earth dogma is doing, he's pushing Nathan Oakley's model.
Actually, I am a glober, and my channel exposes flat Earth dogma. I also have a video where I debunk Nathan's flat Earth model, and it's funny that in this video there's a clip where Nathan agrees with Bev that he does not have a model.
I'm not claiming a model, so this doesn't apply to me, for all the people spamming my comments with it.
And that's because I understand how the flat Earth model works. Now, this is based on a single fundamental principle. The Earth is not a globe with a curved water surface because the surface of water on a flat Earth is the flat horizontal plane. Therefore, on a flat Earth, level is equal to a horizontal plane.
He's handing out flat Earth dogma. The same as Nathan Oakley. The same.
I thought I sincerely apologize. I thought Effie Dogma was a Glober.
He is.
He is. So, but
Well,
officially,
then how is he exactly the same? If we're
Look
going to
what
be
he's
technical,
saying. Yes, it works over short distances since curvature errors are too small to measure. But your model says that since level is horizontal, then a horizontal plane will measure the same elevation at any distance.
well, a horizontal plane will.
No,
No.
it won't.
What do you, a horizontal plane is a horizontal plane, bro.
You
Now you're
don't
starting to sound like Nathan.
measure a horizontal plane.
You have to. Euclid proved that a horizontal plane. I mean, bro, now you're starting to sound like Nathan. I'm just saying.
I think Bev's having a moment of cognitive dissonance because I did not make that claim. Bev, you made that claim.
We all agree here that a horizontal plane is level.
I can prove it. I have proved it.
This is from his On the Level website, planar, of or relating to a geometric plane, flat or level, both of which are highlighted in yellow. Now you just heard Bev claim that he has proved that level is horizontal. And of course that means that all of these elevations are flat horizontal planes. That is the flat Earth model. Of course, this is completely different than the globe model where level surfaces of equal elevation are curved surfaces.
He's associating what we do with Nathan Oakley's measurement of flatness.
Well, Bev, actually, you are making that association since you posted this on your On the Level Discord channel some months ago. Look at all the references to flat Earth. And this is from your On the Level website where you wrote the observation that water forms a horizontal plane of reference is all around us in lakes, canals, and on the very tools used to find levels. Now, if this is what Bev believes, then that would have to include the water of oceans. And again, that is literally the flat Earth model. Now, Bev is making the claim that since the Earth has terrain with measurable elevation, the Earth is not flat. Well, I'm going to call that a straw man argument because everyone on both sides of this debate understood that the term flat Earth did not mean that the Earth was literally flat, and never have I heard a flat earther make a claim like that. So let's be honest, if it quacks like a duck, it might just be a duck. Of course, Bev did write this, going north until you go south is contradictory to me. So maybe Bev's view of reality is a bit different than the rest of the flat Earth community.
He goes on to say, I know this is not the truth, since we know that a horizontal plane established by surveying instruments do not measure the same, but increasing elevation over long distances.
Yes, that is the truth, because this is what we see in reality.
In fact, nobody would go out there, out of this arena, and talk about level curving, because you would be considered crazy if you were to go out there into the real world and expect people to believe level curves.
So Bev, haven't you ever Googled surveying horizontal and level lines and looked at these graphics from civil engineering and surveying websites? Why do they match my graphic with curved level lines dropping down from the horizontal?
So he says the irony if you measured it in your globe with your own photos, which you show your auto level targeting Blackpool Tower 100 feet higher than the elevation of your auto level. Who made that measurement?
Bev, you seem to have forgotten that not only did you make that measurement, but you documented it on this Earth Awakenings live stream. There's your leveling rod on a beach, and there's a phone camera hooked up to your auto level. And we can clearly see that the elevation of your auto level is about 1.2 meters above that beach. In the upper right is a photo of you when you're about 500 meters away. And it is pretty obvious where the crosshairs are targeting Blackpool Tower. Now here's a photo showing that the steel structure sits atop a 3-story building, and on Google the street level is at about 8 meters. And here's another photo of Blackpool Tower. Now I scaled this photo to the image of Blackpool Tower in your photo by using those horizontal trusses, and it is pretty obvious that your crosshairs are not targeting distant Blackpool Tower about 1.2 meters above a beach.
Guys decided to come up with this thing here that FE Dogma's talking about. Some sort of a measurement that was never made of 100 feet. Somewhere in the distance, in the background of a shot.
What I actually wrote is about 100 feet higher than the elevation of your auto level, because this is only an estimation. Well, Bev is denying what we see in this photo, because where we see those crosshairs intersect Blackpool Tower is not 1.2 meters above the beach at Blackpool.
He says there, you say that horizontal does not change in elevation ever, yet your photos, we see the elevation of your auto levels horizontal going from 1.2 meters above the beach in Southport to 100 feet in Blackpool. Well, that's like 13 miles away. Auto levels don't do that.
Well, 13 miles at 8 inches per mile squared comes up to about 112.7 feet. Again, it is pretty obvious that 1.2 meters above the beach at Blackpool would be down here by the beach, not up here at the base of the steel tower. Again, here's the two different models, and they make completely different predictions about a horizontal plane. As Bev wrote up there, a horizontal does not change in elevation ever. So this is what Bev's model predicts in regards to the photo of Blackpool Tower. And Bev's graphic up above matches my graphic down below, where I show the 1.2 meter horizontal line intersecting two surveyors at each end. And since Bev claims that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane, I've added water levels at each end for all three elevations. But again, Bev's model does not predict what we see in that photograph. Now here's a representation of the globe model, and it is definitely not the scale. But again, the globe model predicts that elevation increases with distance due to curvature errors will be observed with the auto level's horizontal reference plane, which is exactly what we see in this photograph taken by Bev. So Bev, I stand by my comment that I wrote in your video, because observed evidence does not support your claim.